Hi, this is Stacy, Goddess of Desire. I made a video a couple days ago about creating your own reality and that you can create your own reality or rewrite your own reality. Um, so I wanted to make a part two to that because there were a lot of things that were left out, and I may make a part three, and who knows how many more parts. But anyways, I was thinking more on it, and when I was meditating, I got messages that came through that needed to be added to that post. So this is going to be a part two to that. So things that people speak to you constantly, those things also get stuck in our subconscious mind, and our ego uses that to drive us into using those things to create or in our current reality. So, for instance, I talked about how my bio mom left and I had trauma with that or whatever, and that played a huge role in, that people weren't going to stay, people weren't going to stay. So, I didn't know my mom left whenever I was a baby. I was only 14 months old whenever my dad got custody of me. I I was an infant. How would I know? How would I remember that? So that was something that people told me over and over and over and over and over again, my whole life. It was an ongoing thing. So I began focusing on that, um, and it came up in my reality. With it coming up in my current reality, again, I focused on people leaving, not people staying. And that was from a small child. When my bio mom left, and my aunt left, and my uncle left, and then, my grandparents got divorced and they left because life happens to people. But they really weren't gone. They just were temporarily not there, and then they came back. My aunt went to the Air Force, my uncle moved to Missouri, and then he came back. I was able to go visit. It's not like they were gone for good, right? But that's how I took it, because I was constantly told that I was left, right? So don't let people speak things onto you. Ever. Don't ever let people speak on things onto you. And don't speak those things onto other people. Be cautious of what you're saying to people, what you're putting out, because those manifest for you and those manifest for others. I have a friend recently who went through a terrible divorce, and her to be ex-husband, the day that they went to court, told her, your kids are going to turn on you, they're going to do all these things to you, you're going to get old, you're going to look old, you're going to do all these things, right? He told her a bunch of horrible things, and she kept focusing on those, and she kept telling everybody what he said and how horrible it was, and she manifested those things to actually happen. It was horrible, but she manifested those things to happen. She started believing that they would happen, whether she actually believed it or not. It was stuck in her subconscious mind. So her ego then started saying, "Oh, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening." You know what I mean? So that's not good. That is not good. Also, those things that happen to us, and I wrote notes so that I wouldn't forget while I was manifesting. I kept jotting things down. Anyways, we focus on the things that had a huge impact on us, and the huge impacts are usually the pains, right? But those things were sent there to teach you, to help you grow, to help you elevate to the next level, to give you understanding, because down the road, somebody else was going to need that. And this is what the divine was using you for, right? You needed to have this knowledge. And the only way to get the knowledge is to go through the things. And the only way to remember it and never forget it is if it has a huge impact. But they're not there for you to focus on the negative side of it. I mean, if you wouldn't have had this happen, this wouldn't have happened, right? Like, if you wouldn't have lost your job, you wouldn't be in your current job that may be better. And then when we focus on those negative things, we start self-sabotaging, and we don't realize that we're self-sabotaging. You're showing up to work late every day. You're, all these things. You maybe didn't like the job, but instead of putting out applications and stuff like that, you started, you just, you weren't there, you didn't want it, and then you sabotaged it, right? And or God was making you move. or the divine was making you move, universe, whoever, whatever you believe. We're not here to talk about that. But you can't have the new if you don't, if you still keep holding on to the old. You were supposed, if you prayed for it and manifested it, you have to keep on moving forward. So it's not always a bad thing. It's a temporary setback, but if you don't do it yourself, it's going to happen for you. And if it happens for you, it's going to be really uncomfortable. It's going to be really uncomfortable, the yeah, but those things normally happen in our love and in our money. Those are where we really are paying attention, right? We in in this world, we have to have money to survive. We have to, have money to pay for a place to live. We have to have money for a vehicle. We have to have money. So it's going to hit us in the money part because that's where we're paying a lot of attention. It's going to hit us in our love part because everybody wants to be loved. We're designed to be loved. The whole point of us being here is to love and be loved, and not necessarily romantically. I tell people I love them all the time, and you should see the look on people's face like, oh my God. And I'm like, do you not understand that I just love you? Which means I'm giving you love energy. That's it. I'm not trying to marry you. Calm down. You know what I mean? Like, calm down. That's not what that means. But so many people have, don't even get me started on that. That's a whole nother story. But our words and our thoughts manifest. So if you walk around talking about being broke and think about being broke all the time, you're going to be. And just like my friend, whenever her late husband told her those things, she manifested them into reality. Don't focus on what people told you. Don't focus on what happened back then. Turn those things around into a positive. What did you learn from that? What did you gain from that? You know what I mean? Those things that are impacting you in a negative way, go back and think to each one and turn it into the positive. Focus on that. Write it down. Rewrite it, because that energy is putting it out there. It's putting it in your subconscious mind. I wrote mine like 3 or 4 times each. I typically do things in threes just because I don't know. I just do. I just like 3. Doing it 3 times. But write it down. Write it down as many times as you need to. What you gained from that situation. What was good that came from that situation? There was something. What did you learn? What did you gain? What knowledge did you have to help someone out? That happened back then. What knowledge did you have to help someone out? When I was abandoned at the age of 14 months old by my mom, right? All the things that I went through. Check this out. So I have a daughter that I adopted. And I got her when she was 14 months old because her mom left. She was my cousin's child. So my daughter is technically my second cousin. I know what she's going through, but you know what I didn't do? We don't focus on the fact that she was left. We don't talk to her about the fact that she was left. There have been times that her bio mom's been brought up by people, and she did look her up on Facebook. And I told her, if you want to be friends with her on Facebook, that's okay. And she was like, no, I don't know her. She's not my mom. I just wanted to see, like, what my siblings look like. My actual, siblings from her looked like. I just wanted to see what her life was like. But I don't have any interest in talking to her. She was like, you're my mom. But I had a different outlook. But it was so focused on, she left you. I was compared to her so much. And I was genuinely extremely curious about all of that because it was talked about so much. And we just don't focus on that. Now my mom has tried to focus on that. My sister has tried to bring it up and focus on that. And we keep telling them, we don't focus on that. And my daughter, Isabella, she does not have that focus in her life because she doesn't dwell on it. And that's why she doesn't dwell on it, because it never really been there. Anyways, I might make a part 3, but I just wanted to share this because it came from Spirit. Love you. Till next time.